Have you ever found yourself biting into a KitKat bar, savoring the iconic snap and wondering what makes this simple, crunchy treat so delicious? Whether it's the velvety chocolate coating or the crispy wafer layers, KitKat has become a global phenomenon, delighting chocolate lovers of all generations. Since its humble beginnings in the 1930s, KitKat has grown to become one of the world's most recognizable and beloved chocolate bars, producing over 7 million bars per day. That is correct, every day. However, the journey from raw ingredients to a perfectly packaged red and white bar is far more complicated than you might expect. Before we get into the process, please subscribe to our channel to learn more about cutting-edge technologies used in today's farm and factory productions, particularly those involving artificial intelligence. Every KitKat bar is the result of a global process, cutting-edge technology, and a long history of chocolate-making expertise. From lush cocoa farms to cutting-edge mega factories, we're about to delve into the fascinating world of KitKat production. Along the way, you'll come across an unexpected secret ingredient that adds a new twist to the process. Origins of KitKat, a global phenomenon. Before we enter the chocolate factories, let's turn back the clock to the 1930s. KitKat, as we know it today, began as an idea in York, England, when the Rowntree's company sought to create an affordable, convenient snack for employees to carry in their lunchboxes. Originally known as Rowntree's Chocolate Crisp, the bar quickly gained popularity. In 1937, it was rebranded as KitKat after a popular 17th century literary club in London. But now let's get into what truly distinguishes KitKat bars: the ingredients. The journey begins not in a factory, but on a farm thousands of miles away. Cocoa beans, the initial chapter of a KitKat bar. Every KitKat bar's story begins in West Africa's vibrant cocoa farms, which account for more than 70% of global cocoa production. Cocoa trees thrive in the warm, humid climates of countries such as Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana, producing pods that contain cocoa beans, the lifeblood of chocolate. Farmers use machetes to carefully harvest cocoa pods from trees twice a year, in March and October. These colorful pods, which range from green and yellow to vibrant reds and purples, are split open to reveal rows of cocoa beans nestled within a sticky white pulp. Each pod contains between 20 and 50 beans, but not every bean is destined for greatness. Only the best beans, chosen for their size, color, and texture, will make their way into a KitKat bar. Cocoa harvesting is a labor-intensive process that requires both skill and patience. After the beans are extracted from the pods, the fermentation process begins, allowing them to reach their full flavor potential. Fermentation, the secret to great chocolate. Fermentation is a critical step in the production of high-quality chocolate. Once harvested, the cocoa beans are stored in shallow wooden boxes or piled high and covered with banana leaves. The beans naturally ferment for 5 to 7 days. This is where the magic happens. Enzymatic reactions break down the sugars in the pulp surrounding the beans, causing chemical changes that give the cocoa its rich, complex flavor profile. During fermentation, the temperature of the beans can reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 49 degrees Celsius, and farmers must turn them periodically to ensure even fermentation. This process is critical. Without it, the chocolate made from the beans would lack the nuanced flavors we have come to expect from premium chocolate. Consider it like aging wine. The longer the process, the better the end result. After fermentation, the beans are dried under the hot African sun. This sun-drying process lasts about a week and reduces the moisture content of the beans, preparing them for the long journey to the factory. Once dried, the beans are packed into burlap sacks, weighing between 130 and 200 pounds. These sacks are then loaded onto trucks and transported to ports before being shipped across oceans, often thousands of miles, to Nestlé factories in countries such as the United Kingdom, where the transformation from bean to bar begins in earnest. The cocoa beans may have traveled far, but their journey is far from complete. When they arrive at the factory, they must go through a number of critical steps before they can be called chocolate. When the cocoa beans arrive at the factory, they undergo a highly automated and efficient cleaning and sorting process. However, this is not just any cleaning. Given that factories handle hundreds of tons of beans per day, the process must be extremely precise. Machines are used to separate the beans from foreign matter such as twigs, stones, and husks. High-tech sensors, blowers, and screens sort through the cocoa beans, ensuring that only the best ones make the cut. These machines are so finely tuned that they can detect and remove even the smallest impurities, resulting in high-quality chocolate. Following cleaning, the beans are roasted. Roasting cocoa beans is similar to roasting coffee. Different temperatures and times result in different flavor profiles. Nestlé keeps the exact roasting details of KitKat under wraps because they've developed a unique roasting technique that gives their chocolate its distinct flavor. However, we do know that roasting is an important step in producing the rich, deep flavors required for great chocolate. Once the cocoa beans have been roasted, they can be cracked open. Inside the bean is the prized cocoa nib, the purest form of chocolate before any other ingredients are added. The nibs are separated from the husks, which are then discarded or reused as mulch. The cocoa nibs are then ground down with industrial grinders. The grinding process turns the solid nibs into a thick, dark liquid known as chocolate liquor. Chocolate liquor, despite its name, contains no alcohol. Instead, it is a mixture of cocoa solids and cocoa butter, the two main components of chocolate. This chocolate liquor has a thick and grainy texture at first, but it smooths out after refining and grinding. This chocolate liquor yields cocoa powder and cocoa butter, both of which are required for chocolate production. After preparing the chocolate liquor, mix it with sugar, milk, and vegetable fats. The ratio of these ingredients is critical in determining the flavor and texture of the finished chocolate bar. Nestlé uses a carefully controlled recipe to create KitKat's smooth milk chocolate, which strikes the ideal balance of sweetness and creaminess. Factory workers use large industrial mixers to blend these ingredients in massive quantities, allowing KitKat to produce millions of bars per day. An interesting fact is that KitKat's recipe includes vegetable fats. Why? While cocoa butter is a premium fat, vegetable fats help to reduce production costs, making KitKat more affordable to consumers without sacrificing taste. After the ingredients are combined, the chocolate is further refined to remove any remaining grit and achieve a smooth, glossy consistency. But we're not finished yet. The next step is conching, which is essential for making chocolate melt in your mouth. Conching is the final stage of chocolate's texture and flavor development. In this process, the chocolate mixture is ground and mixed continuously in large machines known as concho for several hours, if not days. This step further refines the chocolate, removing any rough particles and resulting in the silky, smooth texture that we all know and enjoy. While cheaper chocolates may skip this step, Nestlé does not take shortcuts. The longer chocolate is conched, the creamier it gets. KitKat's extended conching process ensures that each bite is as smooth and indulgent as possible. Conching also influences the final flavor of the chocolate. The constant mixing helps to evenly distribute the cocoa butter and other ingredients, ensuring that each KitKat bar has the same rich, balanced flavor. Now that the chocolate is smooth and rich, it's time to ensure the perfect snap when you break off a piece of KitKat. Tempering is the process used to achieve this. Tempering involves carefully controlling the temperature of the chocolate as it cools. If you've ever seen a chocolate bar that appears dull or has a whitish bloom on the surface, it's the result of improperly tempered chocolate. Nestlé manufactures KitKat using high-tech tempering machines that precisely control the temperature of the chocolate, cooling it to around 27 degrees Celsius to ensure a glossy finish and satisfying snap. Once tempered, the chocolate is ready to be combined with KitKat's iconic wafers, but not before one final step. What distinguishes a KitKat is not just the chocolate, but also the wafer. The wafer is the unsung hero of the KitKat bar, providing a satisfying crunch that complements the creamy chocolate coating. The creation of the wafer is a meticulous process in itself. The dough for the wafers is made with simple ingredients like flour, water, and a touch of sugar. This dough is poured into large molds, resulting in thin, flat sheets. These wafer sheets are then baked at a precise temperature, typically around 150 degrees Celsius, until golden brown and crisp. After baking, the wafer sheets are cooled before proceeding to the next stage of production, layering with the secret KitKat filling. Here's a little-known fact. The creamy filling between the wafer layers of a KitKat is made of KitKat. Yes, you read it correctly. Any KitKat bars that do not meet Nestlé's strict quality standards are ground into a fine powder and combined with chocolate to make the filling for new bars. This process not only reduces waste, but also ensures that every KitKat tastes the same, bite after bite. Nestlé has devised a clever solution to avoid waste while maintaining the consistent flavor and texture that fans enjoy. This secret ingredient gives KitKat its iconic flavor, while also helping the brand's sustainability efforts. After the wafers have been layered with KitKat filling, they are cut into long, rectangular bars. The wafer bars are then placed in molds and coated with a layer of liquid chocolate. This chocolate coating gives KitKat its distinctive glossy appearance and delicious flavor. The wafers are coated in chocolate using specialized machines capable of producing hundreds of bars per minute. After coating, the bars are sent through a cooling tunnel where the chocolate solidifies, transforming from a liquid to the shiny, crunchy coating we know. Once the bars have passed quality control, they are sent to the packaging line. The process of wrapping KitKats in their iconic red and white foil is extremely fast, with over 300 bars wrapped per minute. The packaging machines are designed to perform the task precisely, ensuring that each bar is wrapped neatly and efficiently. After packaging, the bars are boxed and temporarily stored before being delivered to distribution centers. With over 1 billion KitKat bars consumed annually in the UK alone, there is a constant demand for new shipments. KitKat bars are loaded onto trucks and shipped to retailers all over the world from Nestlé's factories. A look ahead, as much as KitKat is about indulgence, Nestlé is committed to making the famous chocolate bar as environmentally friendly as possible. By 2025, Nestlé has pledged to source 100% certified sustainable cocoa, ensuring that the chocolate we enjoy today does not harm future generations. In addition to sustainable cocoa farming, Nestlé has taken a number of steps to reduce its environmental impact. KitKat is working to make its production process more environmentally friendly and ethical, from reducing water usage in factories to providing fair wages and better living conditions to cocoa farmers. Now that you know the incredible journey behind every KitKat bar, from West African cocoa farms to state-of-the-art factories that produce millions of bars daily, the next time you open that red wrapper, you'll have a newfound appreciation for what goes into making this beloved treat. Hazelnuts being harvested, sugar beets dug up from the earth. Today, we're peeling back the layers and diving into the entire process, from cocoa pod to Nutella jar. So grab a snack and stick around. We're about to explore how this fan-favorite spread goes from farm to factory and finally into your hands. We will begin our journey at the cocoa plantations. Cocoa, it's possible that you've heard it wrong. Although most of us are familiar with it as an ingredient in chocolate, few of us have ever seen the actual production process. Imagine a forest of verdant, tropical trees, each one clustered with a plethora of golden cocoa pods. Using their machetes as if they were an extension of their arm, skilled laborers systematically traverse the fields. They are exceedingly precise, picking only the ripest pods and letting the rest ripen to perfection. Working with cocoa pods, which contain the seeds that will grow into beans, is a physically demanding and time-sensitive process. The flavor of your Nutella actually starts with these seeds. Workers carefully load up big baskets with the harvest, taking care not to break any pods along the way. The following phase starts after they have collected a haul. On the way to the processing factory, the workers check each basket full of pods to make sure they are still of the highest quality. The first transition occurs when the pods arrive at the processing plant. In order to remove any dirt, leaves, or other impurities that may have accompanied them from the farm, they are spread out on tables and scrubbed clean by either humans or machines. The delicate cocoa flavor could be ruined if any contaminants are introduced at this critical stage. Workers carefully crack open each pod using sharp instruments, exposing rows of shiny, wet cocoa beans enclosed by a gooey, white pulp. The beans still don't resemble chocolate in any significant way. They resemble soft, chewy seeds at the moment. The secret to Nutella's famous flavor is actually inside these beans, so don't be deceived. Scooping out the beans from the pods is the next step. Although this step requires a lot of manual labor, every bean is important. The objective is straightforward. Preserve the integrity of each in every useful seed while extracting it. The air drying process, which is gradual and steady, will now begin. You would be correct in picturing these beans being baked in the scorching sun. The beans are spread out on huge drying platforms and allowed to soak up the heat. Not only will this make them dry, but it will also bring out their natural flavor. As they dry, the beans lose water, which concentrates their chocolatey flavor. Now that everything is in order, the beans can be roasted. Things begin to smell absolutely lovely at this point. Imagine enormous roasters, turning the beans gently to get an even roast while maintaining high temperatures. The objective is to accentuate the robust flavor that will underpin the chocolatey Nutella flavor. After roasting is finished, the beans are passed through a machine that removes the cocoa nibs from the husks. The process revolves around the nibs, which are the raw materials used to make cocoa powder. To effectively eliminate the husks while preserving the nibs, the separating process must be meticulous. Accurately striking this equilibrium requires high-tech equipment. The nibs that have been separated are gathered and prepared for their subsequent metamorphosis. Prior to delving into that topic, it is important to mention that the entirety of the cocoa bean is utilized, even the husks, which can be transformed into alternative goods. Effort is not wasted. The nibs can be separated and ground into a fine powder now. The chocolate taste basis that will become Nutella's soul is this powder. Not any powder, though. It takes a lot of skill to grind cocoa nibs. To achieve a fine, smooth texture, the nibs are first ground several times after being broken down into smaller pieces. Sugar is a key ingredient in Nutella, but it's easy to forget that the spread wouldn't be the same without it. After removing them from the ground and shaking off any leftover dirt, farmers harvest tons of sugar beets. Fascinatingly, all parts of the beet are utilized in this process, whether it's for sugar or other byproducts. There is a lengthy process that begins with shredding the beets and ends with boiling and centrifuging the liquid to separate the sugar crystals from the pulp. Nutella goes through extensive quality testing before any sugar is added. Ensuring the sugar is completely pure, free of any impurities that could change the texture or flavor of the end result is the main objective. The mixing stage is reserved for the finest sugar. All right, let's move on to milk. A lot of credit for Nutella's velvety consistency goes to the high-quality milk that went into making it. Where the cows are fed and cared for properly is where the milk comes from. There will always be plenty of Nutella-quality milk from these cows because they are bred to produce a lot of milk. Transporting the milk to a facility for testing ensures it satisfies all regulations once it is collected. We will reject anything that even slightly tastes odd or seems contaminated. Milk is processed into milk powder after it passes all tests. This powder is then combined with the other ingredients. Collecting and preparing hazelnuts. Without a doubt, hazelnuts are the most recognizable Nutella component. The finest hazelnuts are plucked in the late summer from Turkish orchards. Ripe hazelnuts fall to the ground as a result of machinery gently shaking the trees. The next step is to collect the nuts, sort them, and then send them to the processing plant. The hazelnuts are roasted to bring out their rich, nutty flavor after being cleaned to remove any impurities. Only the finest hazelnuts are selected for further inspection after roasting. At last, they are ground into a paste that will give Nutella its rich, nutty flavor. Unfortunately, palm oil is essential to Nutella's velvety smoothness, despite its undeserved negative reputation. Produced from sustainably farmed palm fruits, Nutella's palm oil is a secret ingredient. Before pressing the fruits to extract their oil, they are sanitized to kill any bacteria. Before it's mixed with Nutella, this oil is filtered and refined to make sure it's top-notch. Combine all of the ingredients at once. The hazelnut paste, cocoa powder, sugar, and milk powder are mixed in big industrial mixers. The meticulous mixing process gives Nutella its signature silky smooth texture by allowing all of the ingredients plenty of time to blend together. Technicians watch the blending process closely at every stage to make sure the consistency is perfect, which might take hours. Once all the ingredients are in the mixer, cocoa powder, hazelnut paste, sugar, milk powder, and the all-important palm oil, what happens next is pure culinary chemistry. The ingredients don't just mix together right away, it's a process, carefully timed and executed to create that signature creamy texture Nutella is famous for. The mixer starts off slow, blending everything together in stages. First, the dry ingredients are fully incorporated, ensuring that there are no lumps or inconsistencies in the powder. This is where attention to detail is key. Too fast, and the mixture becomes too dense. Too slow, and it won't blend properly. After the initial mixing, the process ramps up. Now it's all about refining the texture. The mixture is continuously stirred and whipped with the goal of achieving that iconic smoothness. Machines are constantly monitoring the consistency to make sure there are no gritty bits and that the spread remains light and silky. The temperature is carefully controlled as well, ensuring that none of the ingredients overheat or separate. During this phase, secret ingredients are added, small touches that give Nutella its unique flavor profile. These are tightly guarded by the company, so we can only speculate what might go in. But once those are added, the mixture is stirred for hours until it reaches the perfect consistency. By now, it's not just a collection of ingredients, it's Nutella, ready to be jarred and enjoyed. Now that the Nutella has reached its final form, it's time to package it up. This part of the process is mesmerizing to watch. Picture huge vats of Nutella being funneled into a network of automated machines. Were you aware that the states of California and Florida are home to some of the pineapples that are known to be the most hardy in the world? You heard that right. These juicy golden fruits are not just a tropical delight, they are also a significant piece of the puzzle that is the agricultural industry in the United States. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell before we begin. We are going to walk you through the entire process of growing pineapples to distributing them from factories to your nearest supermarket. The planting season for pineapples is the perfect time to get things started. Let's get started with the planting season. Beginning the planting of pineapples in California and Florida is ideal when the temperature begins to drop around the middle of February. Your question is, why February? In spite of the fact that pineapples adore warmth, they require a head start in order to prevent the intense summer sun from taking over. Because of its one-of-a-kind climate, Hawaii waits a little bit longer than other states, beginning the planting season approximately 3 weeks later. This staggered timing is essential because it aligns with the growing conditions of the region. This ensures that pineapples receive the ideal amount of sunlight and moisture throughout their entire growth cycle. Putting this into geographical context, let's talk about geography. The coastal regions of California and the subtropical climate of Florida offer the ideal combination of warmth and humidity for pineapple farming when compared to other states. The differences in planting times between these states and Hawaii are not simply due to differences in climate. Rather, it is due to the fact that the growth cycle is optimized to fit the conditions of the local environment. In contrast to the majority of other crops, pineapples do not originate from seeds. Rather than that, young plants, which are frequently referred to as pups, are carefully separated from the trunk of the mother plant. The task at hand is neither simple nor quick. Farmers have the responsibility of ensuring that each puppy is robust and healthy enough to survive and thrive on its own. After being separated, these young plants are then moved to new plots of land until they are ready to be planted. It is not enough to simply relocate them. It is also necessary to make certain that they are provided with the ideal conditions for growth. To accomplish this, it is necessary to select land that has been meticulously prepared with the appropriate soil composition and sufficient space for the plants to enable their roots to spread out. Because of the meticulous nature of the process, it is necessary to have both experience and a profound understanding of the land. There is a specific stimulant that is sprayed on the pineapple trees in order to accomplish this. This stimulant is intended to encourage deeper root growth, which is necessary for the plant to maintain its stability and absorb nutrients to the fullest extent possible. Farmers can ensure that their pineapples will have a sturdy foundation that is able to withstand a variety of environmental stresses by encouraging the roots to dig deeper into the soil. When it comes to planting density, pineapple farming is nothing short of impressive. This is because pineapples are grown in such large quantities. A total of approximately 11,000 pineapple trees are planted by laborers on each acre. There is one last check that needs to be made before the big harvest, and that is the sweetness test. Despite the fact that pineapples are well known for having flesh that is both sweet and juicy, not all pineapples are created equal. Farmers conduct tests to determine the level of sweetness in their pineapples before harvesting them. In order to prevent any damage to the plant, the harvesting process is carried out manually, with workers carefully removing the fruit from the plant. Since the manner in which pineapples are harvested can have a significant impact on the quality of the fruit, this is a laborious task, but it is also an important one. Specifics of the workforce. Although the workforce in pineapple farming is diverse, the majority of its members are Mexican workers, including a sizable number of immigrants who are not in possession of proper documentation. The labor that is required to bring these delectable fruits from the fields to your table is provided by these workers, who play an important role in the industry. Before being sold, pineapples are washed in factories to remove any dirt or residue that may be present. After that, they are peeled and cut into a variety of shapes, depending on the purpose for which they are intended. For the purpose of preserving its quality and freshness, each pineapple undergoes a meticulous processing procedure, regardless of whether it is destined for the fresh produce aisle, the canning line, or the drying racks. It is a fascinating process that is one of the most popular ways to preserve pineapples, and it is also one of the most popular ways to preserve pineapples. Depending on the final product that is desired, the pineapples are either sliced into rings, chunks, or crushed after they have been washed and peeled. Let's go back to 1886, when the United States was fast becoming industrialized and urbanized. Local chemist Dr. John Stith Pemberton was testing several medical combinations in a small Atlanta pharmacy. Driven by the need to develop a cure for common illnesses like headaches and tiredness, he came upon a formula that would permanently alter the planet. Originally sold as a medicinal tonic, Coca-Cola he produced was thought to have energizing and reviving effects. The sugary soft drink we know today was far different from the original formula, which combined coca leaves, cola nuts, and other components. But people connected with it right away because of its unusual taste and supposed health advantages. Imagine back then drinking Coca-Cola to help with a headache. Wild, right? Nobody knew then that this medicinal tonic would soon become a worldwide beverage icon. Coca-Cola hardly stayed a medicinal tonic for very long. Driven by smart business moves and a recipe that would soon become one of the most closely guarded secrets in the world, the drink changed significantly as the years passed. Businessman Asa Griggs Candler bought Coca-Cola rights in 1888 and started aggressively promoting it as a mainstream beverage. Under his direction, the business concentrated on branding and distribution, fast extending Coca-Cola's influence outside of Atlanta. Forming the foundation of Coca-Cola's distinctive taste, the secret syrup recipe became a closely guarded secret known to just a small number of people. Coca-Cola evolved from a drink to a symbol of American creativity and culture by means of this secrecy and deliberate marketing. Coca-Cola seized on its rising appeal during World War II by making sure American troops, wherever they were stationed, could have the beverage. Along with raising troops' morale, this solidified Coca-Cola's reputation as a comfort and home symbol. To guarantee a consistent supply for the soldiers, the company even developed bottling facilities close to military bases. While some say the recipe calls for unusual ingredients taken from all around the globe, others think the magic is created by the exact ratios of common ingredients. Whether or not the syrup is true, Its mystery only makes Coca-Cola more appealing and gives every sip some mystery. Modern technologies guarantee that every batch of syrup satisfies Coca-Cola's exacting quality criteria. Thus, the blending process is highly under control. From ingredient choice to the ultimate blending, advanced artificial intelligence technology is absolutely vital in this process. AI-driven systems track every action, real-time data analysis, helping to identify any deviations from the norm. This guarantees consistency in every syrup batch, so preserving the taste that millions of people enjoy. Once ready, the syrup is sent to bottling facilities all around, where it is combined with carbonated water to produce the finished good. Though it sounds dramatic, the syrup's silence is all part of preserving that consistent, familiar taste that has made Coca-Cola a household name. Coca-Cola takes great care to guarantee that the water they use is exactly right, since its quality is vital. The water is rigorously purified before it even comes into touch with the syrup. This entails several phases of filtration, whereby contaminants are eliminated and pH levels are changed to produce the ideal basis for the drink. Coca-Cola's water stewardship dedication is a major component of its activities in a world when environmental issues are becoming more and more important. The business strives to lower water consumption, restitute water supplies, and guarantee that its operations are ecologically benign. Coca-Cola keeps delivering the same excellent taste by combining conventional approaches with modern AI-driven technologies, so advancing sustainability as well. Then there is the carbonation, the process that gives Coca-Cola its distinctive fizz and renders it the bubbly delight we all enjoy. Under great pressure, carbonation entails dissolving carbon dioxide gas into the filtered water. This produces carbonated water, which is then kept in dedicated tanks ready for syrup mixing. Though it sounds basic, the process is tightly regulated to guarantee that every Coca-Cola batch has the correct fizz level. While too little might leave the drink flat, too much carbonation can cause it to be overly fizzy. The aim is to strike the ideal balance, so producing a revitalizing drink with just the correct bubble count. At this level, advanced artificial intelligence systems are also actively observing the carbonation process precisely, tracking pressure levels, gas concentrations, and other important variables. These systems make real-time changes to preserve consistency. Coca-Cola guarantees that every bottle or can has the ideal level of carbonation by using artificial intelligence. The application of artificial intelligence technology in this process reflects Coca-Cola's dedication to quality and innovation, so guaranteeing that the product stays true to its original taste wherever it is produced. Respecting quality control. A great portion of this process is quality control. Coca-Cola tests every batch to ensure it satisfies some of the toughest quality criteria in the sector. This entails verifying that everything is just right by looking at color, taste, and carbonation levels. At this point, artificial intelligence systems are quite important since machine learning algorithms examine data from many sensors to identify any anomalies. Should something go wrong, the batch does not proceed. That is rather important. Coca-Cola tastes the same wherever in the world because of this painstaking attention to detail. Apart from artificial intelligence, human inspectors are also quite important for the quality control mechanism. Taste tests, color checks, and other assessments carried out by trained professionals help to guarantee that every batch satisfies Coca-Cola's exact criteria. AI and human knowledge taken together produces a strong quality control mechanism that guarantees every bottle's consistency and quality. Coca-Cola keeps the benchmark for quality in the beverage business by combining cutting-edge technologies with conventional approaches. Empty the bottles. It comes time to bottle the Coca-Cola mixture once it is ready. This is accomplished with very sophisticated equipment that rapidly and precisely fills the bottles with exactly Coca-Cola. Though they are filled quickly, quality is not compromised in the bottles. The machines are set to precisely fill every bottle, so guaranteeing no variation in liquid level. Carefully applying labels to every bottle, machines guarantee their ideal alignment. Coca-Cola's branding depends critically on the labeling process, which goes beyond mere finishing touch. Along with identifying the product, the label communicates the history, values, and promise of quality of the brand. For this reason, every label's placement has to be exact and error-free. By guaranteeing accurate and consistent application of every label, artificial intelligence technologies improves the labeling process. Sensors track label placement and make corrections if needed to guarantee each bottle looks flawless. Additionally, able to identify any flaws in the labels, such as damage or misalignment, AI systems can remove those bottles from the manufacturing line. With a label that captures the brand's dedication to quality, this guarantees that every Coca-Cola bottle that gets to the consumer is not only great but also aesthetically pleasing. Product packaging. The bottles are grouped and packed, ready for delivery once they have labels. Usually, this entails packing the bottles in cardboard boxes or covering them in plastic sheets to maintain their integrity en route. Coca-Cola has created a quite effective packaging system that guarantees the bottle's protection and simplicity of transportation. The packaging procedure is meant to be sustainable and efficient, so reducing waste and guaranteeing that the product reaches its target in flawless condition. Additionally, influencing the way bottles are arranged and packed is artificial intelligence technology, so improving the packaging process. Analyzing each bottle's size and form, AI-driven systems find the most effective method of packing them for movement. This not only guarantees that the bottles are packed tightly, so lowering the risk of damage during transportation, but also reduces packing waste. Coca-Cola is able to deliver a premium product to consumers all around by including artificial intelligence into the packaging process. Every bottle leaving the plant should be in flawless condition, ready for enjoyment by consumers all around the globe. Coca-Cola's quality control system depends critically on this last inspection to guarantee that every product that makes it onto the market is of the best quality. By means of real-time data and insights, artificial intelligence technology improves this last inspection process, so enabling inspectors to make quick and accurate decisions. Coca-Cola is able to uphold the best standards of quality by combining the accuracy of artificial intelligence with the knowledge of human inspectors, so guaranteeing that every bottle of Coca-Cola that gets to the consumer is exactly a representation of the brand. World Distribution System. With one of the most vast distribution systems in the world, Coca-Cola's network guarantees availability almost everywhere. The bottles are sorted and delivered to stores from the plant via distribution centers. Coca-Cola has a mechanism in place to get their product where it needs to be, whether by truck, ship, or jet. A major component of Coca-Cola's worldwide success is this distribution system, which guarantees that consumers, anywhere, will always have access to the good. If you enjoyed learning about KitKat's fascinating journey, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We have a lot more exciting stories to tell about your favorite snacks and treats. Set the notification bell so you never miss out. And if you're curious about how other iconic foods are made, keep an eye out for our next video, which may feature your next favorite snack.